expressed in the following program are those of the speakers and the host, and do not necessarily reflect those of Yoakley Scott Corporation and your sports network.
Yeah, I've been closer to Jesus before, so can you help me out? Oh, can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? But can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Can you help me out? I've been scared to look in my soul. I've been afraid I would follow the road. Yeah, afraid of the things I've been told.
You know what that song means. It means it is another edition of Running Point on ysnlive.com. Oh, I am out of frame. Yes. Brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austin Town. Thank you so much for joining us today. Anthony Hartwig alongside Ty Bartell, as always. Great Wednesday edition planned for you today as it's hump day. We have Justin Kosa coming on in about 15 minutes, head coach of the Springfield girls soccer team, will help us preview their tournament run. They are the 4 seed in Division 3. They play on Thursday for their first tournament game. So we'll talk to him about that. At 1:40, we have our first dip into high school hoops previews as we talk to Aaron Blatch, the head coach of the Crestview girls basketball team. And you're going to have a lot of coaches from the basketball world in the next couple of weeks because we are definitely starting to transition from fall to winter sports. We will have a lot of teams previewed in the next couple of weeks, and it starts today with Aaron Blatch from Crestview.
I don't know about you, Anthony, but I do love football and I do love volleyball, but I'm a hoops man at heart. And when hoops come around, basketball season comes around, it always gets me all giddy and excited. So, yeah, we're going to get you all hooked up with as many coaches as we can live here on Running Point, interviewing, previewing their teams, previewing the seasons, and maybe some players to watch for the year. So we're excited to be talking to all kinds of area coaches, and the only place to find it right here on Running Point on ysnlive.com.
Just wait until you see me during softball season.
Yeah, that's you. We go through our phases.
Oh man! But we did have the start of volleyball tournaments last night, and about half of the area teams started their sectionals. The other half in action tonight. Big wins. We won't go through all of them. You can find all the recaps and graphics and everything, all the coverage on ysnlive.com, plus our social media platforms. Do want to point out that Gabby George of East Liverpool recorded her 1,000th career assist last night for the Potters. So congratulations to just another great athlete in the area getting a milestone. We've seen a lot of them this year, and we have another one in Gabby George from East Liverpool.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, getting it in right there, start of tournament time too. So nice to get to that 1,000 assists club now. And it's great honor too for another area athlete to be a part of the 1,000 club.
I ventured down to La Brea where I got reminded that having multiple games at one spot for a tournament action is fun. It's great because you can go and see a bunch of volleyball one night. But I also got reminded that it equals a long night because, trying to fit 2 games in and thinking that it's going to be an hour and a half just never works out that way. South Range La Brea was supposed to start at 7:30. It didn't start until 8:15-ish. It went 5 sets. So, of course, you're not out of there until about 10:30, around there. So, yeah, it's a long night. It's a fun night of volleyball, but reminders that you should prepare yourself to be there for a while.
Yeah, absolutely. And what a win it was too by La Brea going in 5 sets, as the competitive sets too, back and forth. And we knew South Range wasn't going to be one that's going to be an easy out in this tournament at all. And we knew this was going to be a great matchup. And we mentioned it yesterday, too, out at Mill Creek. And you mentioned it in particular. And boy, what did it not? It didn't disappoint.
Yeah, it was a great match to watch. South Range took a 2-1 lead after winning set number 3. And they had to feel like they kind of gave away set number 1 because they lost at 26-24 after having set point 24-19. So LeBray comes back in set 1, wins that, loses the next 2. It felt like South Range really had control of the match because they, until that last push, they really dominated set 1. And then they come out, they win set 2 and 3. They were close sets, 25-21, 25-22, but South Range made the plays. So it really felt like they had control of this whole match. And then LeBray just came out 1 set 4, 25-17, dominated it, and then really ran away with set 5. It was tied up at 7, and they won it 15-8. So they really ran away with set 5 as well. So it's just a testament to how important momentum is in volleyball and how if you give it up, it's really hard to give it back.
Yeah, momentum, and then you could also maybe attest to maybe stamina too. And I mean, you got to look at after those first 3 sets too, and South Range going up 2-1 in hard-fought sets. South Range just might not have had much left in the tank of the following 2 sets. And I mean, I know these are great, phenomenal athletes, but LeBray was able to take the momentum and ride that momentum to 2-set victories. And congratulations to the Lady Vikings moving on.
South Range's Julie Blasco, who missed a big chunk of the season with an injury, was on the court and had 20 kills for the Raiders. The Raiders have to be imagining what this season could have been if she was on the floor for the whole year. Probably could have been a little bit better than the 8-13 record they finished with.
Yeah, absolutely. But you know what? Looking at it, nothing to be disappointed at for South Range. And it was a hard-fought 5-set match. And it's one of those where both those teams looking so good this season. It's kind of unfortunate one of them had to come out on top of it because both of them deserve to win that game. But hey, all the credit to the Lady Vikings for coming out on top.
They held a really good LeBray offense to 11, 14, 28, 42 kills in the night, which for a team total, it's not extremely high, especially for a 5-set match. 42 kills for a team, 32 errors, and a hitting percentage of 0.87. So they really defensively held LeBray down as much as they possibly could. Riley McDonough finished the night with 14 kills to lead LeBray. And then Briley Daniels had 8 kills for them as well. So a great night for the LeBray defense. They played just as well as South Range, especially in that 5th set. Both defenses kind of shined and held the other team's hitters to a very low hitting percentage. 0.87 for a team is substantially low for a hitting percentage.
Yeah, and I mean, we kind of felt like these 2 teams were going to be locked into a deep battle, and it seemed like it. And not being at the game and not being able to witness it, my question to you, since you were there, I'm assuming then with that kind of defense, there was probably a lot of extensively long volleys between these 2 in multiple matches.
And it seemed like LeBray won almost every long volley, which is important for momentum and stamina.
Yeah, and I mean, and you gotta tip your cap to LeBray. Sometimes you just come out and have a better night. And sometimes it just finds the hardwood. And, sometimes those games happen where you get into long volleys. And, hey, I don't care who you are. If you're into a volley that lasts anything over like 45 seconds to a minute, both of you are good enough to get that kill. It's just a matter of who finds that hardwood first at that point. And LeBray just found it more.
I'll say this: South Range was swinging harder as a team. Like their hits were going at a faster velocity. LeBray was playing really good defense and keeping these balls in the air, and you could tell South Range was getting frustrated because they were getting really good swings, and they weren't falling for kills, and you could tell their hitters were starting to, lose a little bit of the fundamentals of the approach and just wanting to, frustration makes you lose a little bit of those little fine details.
Was one team more in the error department as far as service errors, or were they pretty clean?
Like I said, LeBray had 32 attack errors to go with their 42 kills. So not a great not a great night as far as hitting, but that goes to once again the blocks were pretty good. South Range struggled blocking all season, but Ali Sourwine starting to put it together in the middle. Hannah Heikkinen also had a good night in the middle. They were trying to get over the blocks and they were hitting them along a little bit. So South Range, I don't have their hitting percentage. I mean, LeBray's coach is awesome, by the way. She has this stat sheet filled right at the end of the night that I can look at attacks, errors, kill percentage, kills, errors, assists, digs. I mean, it's
But it just goes to show you too, in LeBray's case, you don't need to have the best hitting night. If you play that solid defense, you play that net defense, and you're able to get a considerable amount of digs like that, when you got that kind of defense, it can carry you a pretty long way.
Yeah, and only 4 total blocks for the Vikings. So sometimes blocks can be deceiving because if you're not getting the point for the block, but you're still stopping the hitters or you're still getting enough of a hand on it to give your back row a chance. 29 total digs for LeBray. No, I'm sorry. That was assists. 29 total assists. 89 total digs for LeBray. That's a huge number for a team. And I would bet that South Range had a pretty strong dig night too. Both back rows were incredible. I mean, South Range has the defensive player of the year for a reason. She's back there getting digs like it's her job because it is her job. And, LeBray had a lot of digs as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And like we said, credit to the Vikings. This is probably one of the considerably more interesting, I think, volleyball matches of the night where we saw a lot of competition in this first round.
In the first half, we saw Camel get – it's got to be their first tournament win, if not in program history, in a long time for Camel for volleyball. They're a program that is just – they've been on the struggle bus for a while. They got 8 wins this year, sneakily under the radar, getting 8 wins in that MVAC gray tier. Very hard to do. And they're a quality volleyball team that's starting to build the program in Camel. I mean, no one's been talking about it, and I will attest to that too. I kind of was surprised by how well put together the Camel team was, considering what I had seen in the past from them. But no, a very good Camel volleyball team got a big program win over United.
And you know what? When I saw that too, I was initially shocked as well. I mean, I was not expecting Camel to come out on top of that one when I saw the initial score on that. And you know what? Congratulations and all the credit to Camel for getting that victory and starting to build that foundation for the program and turning it around.
Just real quick to wrap that up, my heart did break for Tori Schaffet, who is United's everything. The senior leader broke the record for aces in a season. She couldn't play because she was exposed to COVID that day. So unfortunately, the COVID protocols stopped her from having that last game. And obviously the season is over for United. So great career for Tori, and hopefully she doesn't let that affect her too much. So now we will welcome in Justin Kosick, the head coach of the Springfield girls soccer team, as we venture from volleyball tournaments to soccer tournaments. And it is in the full swing of tournaments as well. Coach, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me again, you guys. I appreciate it.
Man, we haven't talked to you since the season preview, really. I mean, before we get into the tournaments and the brackets and breaking down these matchups, just give us a kind of a reflection of how you think the season went compared to maybe the expectations you had preseason when you talked to us last.
We had big expectations. It didn't go exactly how we wanted it to, but we ended up winning the MVAC again for the second year in a row. We finished 12-2-2 overall with a loss to Salem, who phenomenal Division II team this year. We lost to Champion the first time we played them, put a lot of shots on goal. We just couldn't put it in. They beat us 3-1 that game. And then other than those 2 games, I mean, we had a tie against United. We had a tie against Waterloo early in the season, who is a much improved offensive team. And we kind of got done what needed to get done. We had a lot of big injuries this year. We lost our 2 4-year starting senior inside defenders early in the season. Kylie Medvec went down before halftime of our first game with a knee injury. Mary Grace Mason went down before halftime of, I think, our 3rd game with a knee injury. Mary Grace tried to come back, and we put her in. for maybe 2 minutes, and she planted that foot, and the knee just gave out and buckled again. And finding people to replace the two of them. We have two freshmen, Hannah Stoffer and Kendall Mann are back there playing for us in those positions, and they've done a phenomenal job. Just, I mean, more than I ever could have asked for freshmen coming in, replacing two seniors like that, and the team kind of rallied around them. And like I said, we didn't necessarily do exactly what we thought we would do, but we've stepped up enough, and we've moved some girls around in every game. They've been willing to play multiple positions, not just game to game, but I mean half to half, minute to minute. I've moved girls to 4 to 5 different positions in one game, multiple girls in one game, just to fill spots that needed filled based on injuries, and we've had some illnesses, and they've stepped up and they've done what they needed to do. It's been exciting that way. I've coached more this year than I think I've coached in the last 4 years combined.
You talk about a lot of these freshmen stepping up, and I'm sure that there was a lot of surprises in that too. Talk to me a little bit about how much growth you've seen from the freshmen and where the biggest areas of growth there has been from game one until now.
We have our three freshmen who get the most playing time for us. Hannah Stoffer and Kendall Mann, like I said, they've been starting every game at defense. They started outside, they've moved inside. The two of them, their confidence has just grown leaps and bounds. Hannah is a club kid. She plays at SVA. Kendall is not. She played rec through our rec league, and she played maybe 2 years of travel with us. And she looks like a club kid out there. She comes out, and it's kind of like we have one who just brutes everybody and runs the ball down and gets it out of there for us. And then we have one with a little bit more skill and helps her out. But anything that gets by Hannah, Kendall seems to run down for us. And the big thing with the two of them, like I said, is their confidence. They're playing so confident and so well together right now. They trust each other. The rest of the team trusts them. So that's huge back there. Our third one is Sammy Shafer. She is our we've moved her everywhere. She goes to SVA with Hannah. She started off as a forward. We moved her to outside mid. We have seemed to settle her as an inside mid, kind of an attacking or a holding player there. And it's the same thing. Like once we found a spot that she can stay in for the most part, again, we've had a lot of injuries, so we've moved her when we needed to, but that seems to be her comfort zone. So she likes it in there. And once she got 3 or 4 games in a row inside, she really started to just excel. And I think the big thing with her, again, confidence. Teammates trusting her trusting her teammates, understanding the game plans, and just playing with a lot of confidence.
Coach, congratulations on winning the MVAC for the second straight year, going back to back. This league really pushed you guys this year. I mean, Waterloo comes in a much improved team. They tied you the first time. It was a 1-point game the second time. A lot of good teams in this conference. How much do you think it helped you prepare for what you're going to see in this tournament bracket?
I think it's huge. Last year was our first year in the league. And I talked to a lot of coaches last year about just hoping that overall the league improved, and it has. The other coaches have done a great job. I would put our schedule, and I've talked to United's coach. I've talked to Crestview's coach multiple times about this. I think that, and United's not in our league, but they play a lot of the same teams. I would put our schedule up there against anybody. I mean, I know South Range plays only D2 schools, but looking at the schools that they play compared to us playing Crestview twice, Champion twice, Waterloo twice, we had United out of conference and Ursuline out of conference, and we played Salem out of conference. And the Niles game, we didn't quite get to finish till halftime. We stopped with 32 seconds left, but they're in South Range's conference in a D2, and we tied them with 32 seconds left in the first half. So I think that the league improving, and I didn't even mention Waterloo like you did, they kind of came out of nowhere this year. Chris Hart has done a phenomenal job with that team. Kara English is going to be the real deal. I mean, she's really good as it is as a sophomore, but by the time she's a senior, everybody in this area, D1, 2, and 3 is going to have to watch out for her because she's a really strong player. And offensively, that team has improved probably more than any team I've seen in my 8 years of doing this. So I think that the conference improving, I don't think it will just help us. I mean, like I said, Crestview and Waterloo being ready to play in these brackets, it's really going to benefit us being game ready for tournaments.
And talking about being game ready, and I mean, I think the adversity that you guys face is definitely going to help you out come this tournament time. What are some, though, other improvements that you're looking to kind of make, or are there any adjustments, if at all, that you do want to make before the start of the tournament?
There are. I mean, we still have a couple little nicks and dings, and I've given more days off this year of practice and rest time than I've probably given, again, in the last 4 or 5 years combined. We've had a lot of rest days just trying to get healthy. And it started all click probably about 2 or 3 weeks ago with the rest and people starting to play. But we still have some nicks and dings that need to be taken care of before Thursday and definitely before Monday if we're lucky enough to keep playing after this Thursday. But, I mean, improvement-wise, we always talk about just stringing our passes together, getting into open spaces and connecting. It's hard with high school kids, boys or girls. You get a couple players on your team that are really good and somebody plays them the ball and everybody just kind of wants to stop and watch them. And we're trying to work through that where we don't want to get Brianna the ball or Gracie the ball or Kayla the ball and just everybody else kind of watch to see, oh, wow, look what she did. Make the run with them. Go help them. Go support them. Get in a spot where they can see you. Even if you don't get it, you're pulling a defender away from her. So we're still working on a lot of movement off the ball and just getting in position for the person that's on the ball.
And as you try to make those improvements before tomorrow where your tournament kicks off, let's look at this bracket and kind of look at where you sit. You're the 4 seed in the super district, I guess we could call it. And you will play Brookfield on Thursday. And then, you'll look at this, if chalk plays out, Berkshire is the 2 seed up top. At the top of the bracket, you're the 4 seed. But Waterloo's in this bracket as well. They'll be heard from. You got a Badger team that is always a strong program. Rootstown is in there as the 6th seed. A lot of good teams in this bracket. I think people kind of naturally turn their eyes to the 1 seed, but this bracket with the 2 and the 4 should be a really competitive district.
Yeah, we have, again, talking to a lot of the other coaches in the super bracket, I guess, super district, as you would call it, from both brackets. Really, if you looked at both brackets of the Akron district, the first 2 or 3 rounds, it was a crapshoot. I mean, you could have a 3 seed and a 12 seed, and the 12 seed would win. I don't even know if you could call it an upset just because of the way the bracket was laid out and the way that the voting went. To me, when we voted, Berkshire was the number 1 team. South Range ended up getting it, which fair enough. But 1 or 2 there. And then I thought after that, there were 8 or 9 schools that were just kind of clumped together, us included. And it was really hard to decipher who you were going to put in what order. And the way that it played out, I mean, you could have went 1 and 2 or 2 and 1, however you wanted to. And then 3 through 12, you could have completely flipped the bracket. And I don't think anybody really would have been upset just because it was such a cluster of teams that were equal. So, I mean, we didn't do well in my early years in the tournament, but over the last 5 or 6 years, we've competed pretty well. I've never seen a bracket like this. I obviously would like to root for the local teams, but at the same time, when you get in tournaments, I always find it fun to play with schools that you haven't played yet. So having to play Brookfield a 3rd time, the possibility of playing Waterloo a 3rd time. Not that it's frustrating. It's just for the kids' sake, it's more fun, I think, when you play teams that you haven't seen yet. I know that when we were always a lower seed early in my career, I always chose to go to far travel places just to give them that tournament experience. So, I mean, it is what it is. The bracket's kind of loaded, and whoever wins, you're going to play. We went and watched Columbiana and Brookfield the other night. Brookfield played a fairly strong game. We've played them twice. They've played us very strong twice. The first game, we beat them 3-2. I think we got lucky to win the game. The second time, they were up 2-0 at halftime. And then we kind of got clicking in the second half. I think it was either 5-3 or 5-2 final. But they have played us, for a team that only has 3 or 4 wins, they have played us very strong both times that we've played them. So, I mean, we just got to show up, play our game, and like I said, we move people all around, so our game might change 10 minutes into the game, and we just make adjustments, and we're just ready, and we go from there.
Yeah, and I mean, talking about that too, and facing a team a third time, that it's obvious that sometimes you got to make those adjustments so you don't come out with that same game plan. Looking though ahead, or rather looking back at what you've been able to accomplish this season and what you talked about, coaching a lot more this season and being a lot more involved. So you've already hinted that this has been a very unique experience for you, and one that you haven't had to do in quite some time. What has been your favorite part, though, of coaching this particular team this season?
I didn't really know how this was going to go this year with Kylie graduating last year and going off to college, and it's been tough. My son's playing freshman football, JV football, and varsity football. So trying to get to all of those games, trying to get to see Kylie play a couple times here and there. I wasn't sure how this would go. The relationship that I have with the girls on this team is different than any relationship I've had with the girls on any team that I've coached before. I think when you interviewed my captains earlier in the year, I think Kylie Medvec actually made the comment about being able to joke around at practice and have fun. And I think that we have more fun and that we do joke around and laugh a lot more than any of the other teams that I've had. There was always a real serious edge to the team. And a lot of that last year was we were trying to finish an undefeated season. And this year, even before we lost a game, we weren't really concerned about that. We were just out and trying to make things happen as we went from game to game. But just the relationships and the seniors that are able to be a big part of that and include the freshmen and the sophomores in pretty much everything that we do. I mean, they came over, the whole team came over last weekend. We did pumpkin carving and just the screwing around and making fun of each other and joking around during that. It kind of gets your mind off of soccer and allows you to focus on soccer when you need to without being so much wrapped into it. I think that's by far my favorite part of what this group has brought this year.
And what might be the most important question of this interview, we have to know if Bo Snyder did a very good job getting you guys a student section, because we were told in that preview with your captains that he was in charge of it. And we were very adamant that we were going to keep on him. So you have to give us a progress report on the Springfield student section. Did Bo Snyder do a good enough job getting you guys support?
I will say that when Coach Guerrero has allowed them out of practice early enough for our 5:00 starts, at least for the second half of them, we have had a very good turnout from the football boys to our games. I'll say it. We've even had, talking to some parents and looking around at the stands, the last 3 or 4 away games we've had, and we travel far. Like our travel is 45 minutes to an hour to most of our away games, except for Crestview. We've had a lot more people in our away stands than the home team has. So fans, parents, grandparents, aunts and uncles, football boys, volleyball players have been coming to watch. I give the whole community a lot of credit. They're coming out and watching girls soccer.
And talking about the community giving you support, talk about how much the community is going to need to get out there and support you in this third matchup versus Brookfield now.
Yeah, we generally get a decent crowd for tournament games, which has been nice the last few years. But like you said, Ty, it's playing a team the third time. I don't care if you've won 12-1 and 10-2. You're playing a team the third time. They kind of know what you do. So trying to mix it up without changing who you are is tough. We have a lot of support coming out from our local rec league community. A lot of the younger girls in our district come out and they drag their parents with them and they get to come out and watch us play a lot. We've done some things this year where we've actually brought back a lot of our soccer alumni and former coaches. And I get texts and messages on Facebook constantly from them about good luck and they're going to try to make it to the tournament games and all that stuff. So I'm hoping we can, at least for a soccer game, fairly fill up that stadium on Thursday.
Coach, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. It was great to hear from you and reflect on the season and get a preview of this really strong Division III bracket that you are in. Good luck Thursday night and the rest of the tournament. We hope you make a deep tournament run, and who knows, maybe we'll bring you back on to talk about a district championship.
That would be fantastic, Anthony.
We'll be hoping to talk to you again real soon, Coach. Good luck on everything.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Have a good one.
All right, Justin Kusick, and I'm not even. I mean that bracket is very, very strong. I think he nailed it on the head when we haven't seen a bracket like that for Springfield in a long time. It's a good bracket.
But you know what? Whoever comes out of it's going to be battle tested and ready, and that's going to be I think the biggest key for this. It's kind of a blessing and a curse in the same one, where you're going to have to go through some stiff competition, I think, but getting out on top of it, you're going to be battle tested and ready come state tournament or state championship time.
And they are not matched up in regionals with our other bracket, by the way. So if South Range is the 1 seed in Akron 2, and Akron 1. I'm sorry, Akron 1 has South Range, and Springfield's in Akron 2. So if South Range or whoever were to come out of that bracket, they would not have to meet our local teams until an eventual regional final, which we would be very happy with if it was YSN in the regional final.
Oh, absolutely. That would be fantastic if we knew all YSN in the regional final. And gonna be a fun tournament, I think, especially for that Division III. That super tournament or that super bracket rather is gonna be a fun one to watch, I think.
My ears are kind of perked at the very real possibility that we could see a third matchup between Springfield and Waterloo, because that has been a phenomenal little rivalry this year. Waterloo tied them the first time, and then lost by 1 point in the season finale that gave Springfield the MVAC crown. And let's be real. Waterloo feels like they're a little bit disrespected with that 11 seed. So they're going to be coming in that game not only mad that they lost to Springfield and they haven't gotten a win over them, but they feel a little bit chip on their shoulder if they get that third matchup with Springfield.
Yeah, and it would definitely be an interesting matchup. And, as Coach Kosick said, Carrie English is a phenomenal athlete. I've gotten a chance to see her in basketball as well, and she's phenomenal at what she does. And having her for a few more years to get to develop under that Waterloo system, I'm telling you, Waterloo athletics is on the rise, and it is definitely, the arrow is trending up right now for the Vikings in all kinds of sports, and that's football, basketball, and volleyball even, I think, as well. But what we're seeing too now, soccer coming along as well with Carrie English, and I think this is great for Waterloo being in this tournament too, this bracket, because regardless, I think it's going to get them battle tested and ready for future seasons too. A very young Waterloo team at that.
Over 90 goals in her career already, and she's only a sophomore, if that tells you anything.
Yeah, I mean, she's a phenomenal athlete, and Waterloo, they're having I don't know if it's something in the water up there in Atwater, Ohio, but there's something.
Napoleon lost at Waterloo, so there's some historic reference there.
Yeah, absolutely. And well, I don't know what would happen if they match up a third time. That's gonna be that would be interesting, but got to get past Brookfield first.
Right, one game at a time for coaches and players. We're allowed to look ahead to fun matchups, so we're gonna look ahead to Running Point after this commercial break. We'll continue to talk local sports next on Running Point, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown.
New things happen all day. Some are good, some not so good. In today's complicated world, while you're busy working, playing, and living life, we're busy helping you make sense of the day's news. And there's only one place where it comes together with clarity, context, and accountability. It's 21 News at 6 with me, Madison Tromler, and Derek Steyer.
21 News at 6. It's what the day's news really means to you.
Welcome home to a home made homier with Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods. Inspiration starts at BairdBrothers.com and is turned into reality when high-quality hardwoods are delivered right to your home. Baird Brothers has the latest design trends, shiplap and skinny lap interior siding, antique oak rustic flooring, and, well, you'll find them all at BairdBrothers.com. Ordered easily, delivered conveniently, enjoyed comfortably. BairdBrothers.com.
At Greenwood Chevrolet, shop with confidence knowing we're ready to go the extra mile for you. with the largest selection of used vehicles in the Valley, backed by the Greenwood Advantage Warranty. Every one of our vehicles has undergone our own 126-point inspection, so it passes the most important inspection, yours. No other dealership has the extra inventory, gives you extra for your trade, and goes the extra mile for you. Only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
WRS Wealth Advisors, the area's premier wealth and retirement specialists. Located on South Avenue in Boardman.
Quality, customer service, and integrity. Those are the 4 words that have driven our success since 1957 at Joe Dickie Electric.
Joe Dickie Electric is one Mahoning Valley landmark business that stays current with the requirements of our customers. Family owned and managed, we are an electrical contractor and energy solutions provider. Every member of our team adds to his or her skill set through ongoing training. Residential, commercial, industrial, automotive, and more. We keep ahead of the needs of our customers with a fleet of more than 50 vehicles and 24/7 emergency service, so you're never left in the dark.
When looking for home design inspiration, don't just be inspired, be Baird inspired. Whether new or remodeling, Baird Brothers has the latest trends like shiplap to refresh your home. Go from inspiration to installation with our wide selection of in-stock American hardwoods. From the rustic charm of antique oak to the warmth of traditional cherry, Baird Brothers has what you need to make your home inspiring. Baird Brothers, our family's heritage, your family's home.
For a great vehicle and a great experience, come to Boardman Mitsubishi today. As always, our full lineup of Mitsubishi models comes with a standard 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. Boardman Mitsubishi, your hometown Mitsubishi dealer since 1999.
Coca's Pizza, always supporting our community and our local athletes. Stop in on game day or score big and have it delivered right to your door. Check out our daily specials at cocaspizza.com. That's Coca's Pizza, we serve it hot.
At Hubbard Chevrolet, Hubbard can help you get the financing you need, regardless of your situation. I'm Tony Page, and I've helped thousands of customers in Northeast Ohio and Western Pennsylvania buy a vehicle. Visit HubbardChevy.com to get pre-approved. Remember, folks, Hubbard can help.
World. All you need is the opportunity. All you need are the resources of a large university and the advantages of a personalized academic setting where you can experience new worlds in the arts and sciences, business, and education and make them your own. We are where you shape your future. We are Youngstown State University and proud.
Back to you by Chevrolet in the Hartwell side. As we continue to voyage on this wonderful Wednesday October, by mid-October, it is. We had
Yeah, it seems like some glitch gremlins are taking over real quick because you're all pixelated for me. So hold on 1 second. You're kind of moving slow right now. All right, I think we might be caught up now. We might be up to speed.
We continue this Wednesday edition, and let's look at some other finals from last night's tournament action in volleyball and soccer. As we talked a little bit before Justin Kosa came on, what a big win for Campbell's volleyball program. Just want to go back to it real quick. I was so impressed with their energy, their momentum, the way they played. Once again, I was pleasantly surprised when I saw the level of volleyball that Campbell was playing at.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, I was surprised that they were able to come out victorious, and what a win for Camel's program. And this is definitely something the Lady Red Devils can definitely build upon for future seasons and in this tournament too. I mean, they're still alive and they're still fighting and kicking, and there might be a special run over there happening in Camel.
Crestview made quick work of their sectional semifinal as they were able to beat Waterloo 25-4, 25-6, 25-7. Grace Hour had 8 kills, 21 assists, and that was the team leader in both as Abby Emsch led the Rebels. Sorry, not Raiders. Don't want to make that mistake. Led the Rebels offense with 12 kills. She had 2 blocks. Lucy Montgomery with 9 kills, 8 digs. So she was just a little bit shy of her normal double-double. Crestview will play East Canton on Thursday. Sorry, they will play Thursday at Crestview at 6 o'clock against East Canton. And winner goes and gets the sectional championship.
Yeah, I mean, obviously good win for Crestview, and the Lady Rebels ready to keep going ahead in the tournament as a strong showing from the undefeated Lady Rebels at that. And coming up too, don't forget, we also have our interview coming up in an hour with Erin Blanche of the Lady Rebels basketball team too. So don't forget that as well, Crestview fans, because we are going to be talking hoops. It's just around the corner. I know football's still in full swing, but hoops are around the corner, and there's going to be a bunch of basketball coach interviews coming up for you here on Running Point.
Ty just could not wait anymore. He had to get some hoops in his blood.
We were talking about Crestview too, and I wanted to make sure we mentioned we're going to be having Erin Blanche on in an hour.
Blanche. He's twitching a little bit. Like, give me hoops.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry.
Lowville got the big win in their sectional semifinal over Wyndham to advance to the sectional finals. The scores there 26-24, a really competitive first set. And then Lowville ran away with the next two 25-12, 25-11. Sammy Kelly does what she always does. She shined bright for the Rockets. She had 6 kills, 6 digs, 24 assists. And she also served up 12 aces. Haley Cutter shared the team lead with 6 kills, and Sammy Moore led the defense with 20 digs. Lowville will go to the sectional final on Thursday. They'll have a big task in front of them as they will have top-seeded Wellsville to contend with.
Yeah, and that's going to obviously be a tough matchup. But hey, if Lowville has anything, they do have Sammy Kelly back there, and she's a dynamic enough player. And Lowville, a good young team supporting cast around her as well. So this could be a chance for an upset. But we know what Wellsville does year in and year out, especially in the EOAC.
Brookfield took advantage of the home court advantage as they hosted the sectional down in Division 4. They got the win over Valley Christian in straight sets, 25-16, 25-14, 25-13. Anna Reichert led the Warrior offense with 7 kills. Lauren Shingledecker, who is second team All-YSN, right behind her with 6 kills. Bailey O'Brien, great setter, 17 assists for her. Logan Shingledecker was the leader in defense, 7 digs on the night for the libero for the Warriors. Callie Wellman, 4 blocks, good net defense from the Warriors there. They now advance to the sectional final. They have a tough task as they're going to meet 13th seeded Sebring and a very, I'm going to say, underrated Sebring team, maybe a little bit better than that seed would show. And that game will be held at Western Reserve on Thursday at 7:30. They are the second game at Western Reserve. So 7:30 is a very tentative start time. It just depends on when that first game between Western Reserve and whoever they're playing out of the sectional final gets started. So 7:30-ish. If you're like me and go to La Brea, you won't start till 8:15. That's how it works sometimes.
Sometimes that just happens like that. And hey, if you're looking for some competitive volleyball matches, you might be looking forward to some later start times.
And we talk about this game because tomorrow we're going to have Bree Harbison, the head coach of Brookfield volleyball team, to come on, you recap that win and preview their matchup with Sebring and talk about their season and what they've done so well. Very excited to talk to her tomorrow around, I believe, 12:30 is when we have her scheduled.
Yeah, bunch of coaches coming on this week. Also, we're going to be having Coach Armini from LeBray Vikings football. That's going to be on for you on your Friday slate to go along with our football picks, talking with some football coaches. And we obviously know LeBray coming out by the skin of their teeth, but we're going to talk about a little bit of that Liberty win, that win against Liberty, as well as their Week 10 matchup.
I'm going to be excited to hear him try to describe that play and what it felt like seeing it unfold, because it was one of those ones that's just words fall short.
Yeah, honestly. And I mean, it's just you're happy you came out on top of it. Liberty giving LeBray a little bit of a test, but hey, I think it was a good test LeBray needed just before the start of playoffs, as now number 1 seed LeBray goes into Week 10.
All right, Middle Ridge boys soccer was the only team. This was the only game in their bracket that needed a sectional semifinal. Everyone else was waiting in the sectional final, and Middle Ridge got a big, strong second half to win over Heartland 6-1. It was 1-0 at halftime, and then the Rams really put it on in the second half, scoring 5 goals in the second half to win 6-1 over Heartland. You look at their leaders. It was Nate Colburn. He finished with a pair of goals and a pair of assists, but 3 different players had 2 goals. Is Elias Clark, 2 goals for himself, and Landon Powell joined in on the fun with a pair of goals as well. Clayton Butler had a great night in front of the net, 6 saves for him, and Mineral Ridge will advance to the sectional final. They'll play second-seeded Ursuline on Saturday, and that kickoff is set for 1 o'clock.
Yep, should be an interesting Saturday afternoon matchup between the Irish and the Rams.
And you look at another soccer score. Louisville is the bugaboo of Salem. They are on a 4-game winning streak against the Quakers, and that continues as they upset Salem in the sectional semifinal. Louisville, the 14 seed. Salem was the 12. They win 2-0 over the Quakers, and they pitch their 6th shutout of the season. Sophomore Drew Dillon knocked in an early goal to give the Leopards a 1-0 lead, and the assist went to Angelo Precolet. The Leopards were helped in the second half by a goal from freshman Dominic Porter Kovacic, and Joe Reynolds earned his 6th shutout of the season in front of the net, and he did a good job. He only had 1 save, so his defense helped him out. Not a lot of shots on goal for Salem. Louisville, will hit the road again. They advance to face the 6-seeded Mineral Lake Catholic on Saturday. That game will start at 4 o'clock.
Hold on. Okay, there we go. I don't know why glitch gremlins are being
We good?
Attacking me. Yeah, we're good.
Okay.
But now good matchups though coming up, as well as we're right in the full swing of fall tournament time in both soccer and volleyball. Another week for football, and boy, oh boy, it's here, and there's some great matchups in both volleyball and soccer coming up.
And under Louisville's head coach, who's been there since I believe 2017, the Leopards have not lost a first-round tournament game, and that continues as they are the underdog against Salem, but still come out with a win.
Yeah, in Louisville, we know that program. We know the fans there. They're going to be crazy no matter what. They have great support down there in Leopard Nation, and they came out, they supported, and boy, oh boy, Louisville, anytime they're in a tournament, doesn't matter what sport, you always got to be aware of what the Leopards are doing.
And remember Monday when we heard from Irishman? And he's back, and he still wants Hubbard football to be shouted out. And, we're going to have a lot of Hubbard football as we get up to this big matchup on Friday.
Yeah, you're going to be taken care of too. Tomorrow, YSN Primetime is going to be South Range, and it's going to be previewing that South Range Hubbard matchup. Don't worry. It's going to be the preview of the week here on YSN.
And Irish football got the win over Lakeview last night to advance in the tournament as well. So football, Hubbard is on the up track.
Yeah. So Hubbard always with great athletes there and always have great.
And Friday, I better not hear from you, Irish man. I better not hear from you.
As we know, Anthony Romo, we got to get some Hubbard gear on him Friday. We're going to get some Hubbard gear on him.
Nah, I think he's going to forget.
Oh, I'll make sure I remind him to bring it to prime time tomorrow. Don't you worry.
You like to hurt me. Heartland Christian got the 4-set victory in Brookfield. They were playing in Brookfield against Warren JFK to advance to the sectional finals. The set scores there were 25-18, 16-25, 25-15, 25-22. Lauren Mayasek got the Lions offense really rolling, 14 kills for her, 6 aces as well. Emma Hall finished with 6 kills and led the defense with 27 digs. Jordan Webb right behind her, 26 digs for her. Bella Dorkin was the leader in assists with 27. She set up the offense well. You look at the Eagles in their season-ending loss. Chloe Coates led them with 10 kills, was 1 dig short of a double-double with 9. Ellie Rink had the defense locked down, 13 digs for her, and Katie Regier led the assist category with 22 assists for her. So now Heartland advances to the sectional final. They will play second-seeded Western Reserve at Western Reserve on Thursday at 6 o'clock.
Yeah, and we know Western Reserve, all their programs are going to be tough. They're very tough in all their athletics. So anytime you see the Blue Devils on the docket, you know you're in for a battle.
Yeah, absolutely. You are in for a battle, and they're gearing up for a district championship run, I think. I think they're really trying to make sure they get there. Last year they had to contend with Wellsville because they weren't the 2 seed. This year, different things. They were able to avoid that district bracket, and they think that they have a pretty good path to a district championship.
And they very well might have a good path ahead of them to it, but you got to remember, win one game at a time. And I mean, you might have that easier path to get there, or you might have a clearer path to get there, but you can't overlook one opponent, and we've seen that.
And Irishman, just to answer your question on getting Hubbard Eagle football players onto the show, we haven't gotten to one yet, but I will tell you that Anthony Romo does a really good job getting post-game interviews, and on almost all of their stories, you can find post-game interviews with Brian Hoffman and at least one player every game. So Romo and Jamie have you covered for Hubbard football. They're almost taking the job out of our hands.
They really are special for the Hubbard program, and that's why when we have games like what TC Caffey's had, we kind of let those guys take over then when they want the interview, because we don't want to kind of beat it to death then. If those guys have that interview with them, we want to let them, because they cover the team. They're going to know him, and they're going to know the culture and the fans better than we are, as much as we know a lot of the cultures and everything in the communities of our schools that we love being partnered with. But hey, we got 2 Hubbard guys that got you covered with those Hubbard kid interviews. But don't worry, we'll have some Hubbard people on, especially too basketball wise. We're gonna have you covered, Hubbard.
Covered Hubbard, almost a rhyme, not quite
a near rhyme.
Yeah, don't worry. Like the Hubbard football players are well represented on YSN. Once again, you can go to our YouTube channel. They're on there. The end and post game interviews. They're also attached to the game stories on ysnlive.com. So make sure you check both of those out and hit that subscribe button, because sometimes it's really easy to miss an interview or a video that pops up because we upload so many. So hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and every time that a video pops up on YSN Live's YouTube page, you will be sure to be notified of it, and you won't miss one of the Hubbard football postgame interviews with the coach Brian Hoffman or any of the players.
No, not at all. And we know that we know both Jamie Thompson and Anthony Romo do a fantastic job over there. But don't worry, Hubbard, we'll get you covered here on Running Point as well.
And that's why the Hubbard gets so jealous when they kind of venture off to Springfield every now and then.
Yeah, and their social media is very adamant on keeping them around.
What was the comment? Don't leave the table when the food is hot.
Yeah.
Like that. So Hubbard, knows how good Jamie and Romo are, and they want to keep them for as long as they can.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's going to be a big matchup here in Week 10. So
And
don't worry, Hubbard. You're going to be getting a lot of talk around the network here in this week.
The good news for Jamie and Romo is that Hubbard is Division 3 and Springfield's Division 6, and odd divisions play on a different day than even divisions, so they could actually go and double dip and make sure they get both Springfield and Hubbard's playoff runs covered.
And that would be something, wouldn't it, if they're able to do that? So hey, we'll see what happens going forward. There might be some deep runs for two teams in there.
Yeah, so we continue this edition. Sorry for that little pause. We're still dealing with some glitch gremlins a little bit, but we voyage on as always. We're gonna have Johnny come on at 1:00 to try to pump Sty as he always does. The running total is, I believe, 31-11 is the running total. I had to stop him, but Scotty got 4 last week, so it was 4-2. 29-11 is the total. Final answer. 29-11. You lead Scotty, but Scotty won last week and he won 2 weeks ago. So he's got 2 of the last 3 weeks down on you. Is he making a run tie?
We'll get him
Is he starting to chink that armor?
We got it this time, I think. I'm not worried about Scotty this time around.
He should be. He's coming in with a gusto because his Browns are kind of starting to fall off a cliff.
Yeah, I mean he's not gonna have much to talk to you about with the Chiefs, I think, this time.
What about? Oh yeah. Yeah. Because we're both 3-3 and we beat them, so therefore we are better.
Yeah, there you go. That's what you could argue. Playground argument. We beat you at least.
Yeah, we beat. Well, that's legit. I mean, if you beat them on the field, obviously you're a better team. That's just how it works.
I mean, do we really classify either of these teams as better right now? I think they both need to figure some things out right now.
Have a better quarterback.
Well, yeah, but there's a lot of other issues on that field right now.
We'll see. We'll talk to Scotty about it, see what he thinks.
Yeah, absolutely. As we know, Scotty loves his Brown stock, so we're going to be looking forward to see what topics he brings to the table, as well as questions for me.
I also hear that Scotty has to wear a certain black and yellow team's jersey sometime very soon.
Oh, is that the case? I wonder why that has to happen.
A certain friendly wager with a certain CEO has got him in some black and yellow water.
Oh boy, I think Scotty's gonna have to throw up live on air if he has to wear anything black and yellow.
I think there were some threats given if any vomit or bodily fluid gets on the Steelers jersey. And here he comes rolling in, and we're going to take a quick break, and then we'll be back with Scotty Mitcher's weekly segment on Running Point, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. Don't go anywhere.
Every customer has a story, and at Greenwood Chevrolet, we are committed to making sure it ends with you in the right vehicle. I get to be part of somebody's adventure, whether it's buying a car for the first time, helping them get approved, or finding the perfect car for their budget. I'm proud that people trust me with their finances. They trust me to take care of them, and they trust me with their story. I'm Tracy, and I'm ready to go the extra mile for you, only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
Working with your family can be stressful at times, but because they're family, you know that you're going to get a loving, honest answer, even when things don't make sense to any problem. Dealing with Medicare can be confusing and overwhelming. That's why here at Myers Family Insurance, we do our best to give you honest and caring answers to all of your questions. Family, like Medicare, isn't always perfect, but when you put others first, the results can be amazing.
For all your Medicare needs, call Myers Family Insurance.
in storm season.
I think we're under the gun for some heavy storms over the next couple of hours.
And Storm Tracker 21 is ready.
This is probably the one we're keeping a closer eye on.
On air,
And locally, we're going to have a lot of eyes on our area.
online,
All right, let's talk high-risk futurecast and the timing of this weather.
on social media, and on our app.
Notice we'll have scattered showers on Thursday.
Stay ready with Storm Tracker 21.
The severe weather threat now through around sunset this evening.
Hi, this is Tommy Clem, owner of WRS Insurance Solutions.
WRS Insurance Solutions is a local independent agency that specializes in life, Medicare, long-term care, and disability products. Call us at 330-953-3722 or visit us at wrsinsurancesolutions.com to learn more.
Good luck to all the student athletes in the Valley.
Welcome back to the Wednesday edition of Running Point, and look who we have in the studio. Mr. Traffic Cone himself, Scotty Knight. The orange traffic cone comes in.
You're gonna just take that, Scotty? You're gonna just let him come on and start dissing you?
Hey man, it is my favorite color. So
It is.
I mean, I
notice it's orange, but it's not browns. The hat is though, so I still give you credit for rocking your team, even though they're in a tough spot.
Yeah, I think tough is a bit of an understatement, right?
Well, yeah, they're not in a terrible spot. I mean, they could be 0-6.
Yeah. If they win Thursday, and right now it's a huge if, but if they find a way to win Thursday, you get like that mini bye. I think a lot of the players will be healed up. Hopefully Baker will be good to go. And then, it's game on in the AFC North, which even though Baltimore has a 2-game lead, I feel is still wide open because Baltimore has shown at points this year they're vulnerable. So until the Browns play divisional games, I would say they still have a shot in the division, even though they're 2 games behind right now. But we could talk about that a lot. I'm on the show here today. I wanted to cover some local action and more specifically the high school ball locally. And what I wanted to start off with, guys, and I'll get your thoughts in a second here, but what I wanted to start off with is a game. It's a huge game. Everybody's talking about it this week. The Hubbard Eagles and the South Range Raiders, both 9-0. And I wanted to know from you, because I've seen Hubbard quite a bit this year, but I haven't watched them on a religion. Like, I haven't watched them religiously. I haven't watched them every single game. I tend to think going in here that Springfield has, I said Springfield.
He's got the orange fever. That's what happened.
Yeah, I got the orange fever, and then I'm talking about the Tigers, but I meant the Raiders, South Range. I tend to think they have an edge just because, in my opinion, I feel like at times the Eagles, and it almost came back to bite them early in the season against Cardinal Mooney. I feel like at times they're a little too reliant on Timothy Caffey in that running game. But do you guys think that is fair or foul? Do you agree with that, or do you think it is a bit of an overreaction? And what are you watching out for, and who are you guys favoring in this Hubbard South Range matchup?
Here's the thing I'll say, and I'll start off, and then I'll let Ty come in. You can say Hubbard is one-dimensional, and they are. They hand the ball off a lot, and they do it a lot to TC Caffey. But here's the other thing. every defense on the planet knows that. And so far, even the mighty Poland Bulldogs defense couldn't really slow it down. And you could argue that defensively, Poland might have had a better season so far than South Range overall. I mean, we've seen South Range's defense struggle here and there. 21 to Jefferson, it was 14-14. Gave up some points to some other teams as well. So when you look at that, yeah, they're one-dimensional, but yeah, it's really worked. Ty, what do you think about Hubbard and their offense and the knock or the statement that it is kind of one-dimensional? And it's fair, but I think, to my point, no one's been able to stop it otherwise.
It's semi one-dimensional, but this is what Hubbard's always been known to do. This is Hubbard's style of offense that works and has gotten them a lot of very successful teams over the years, and it's working yet again. And a little bit to what Irishman was saying about Hubbard running the Wildcat, I heard about that too, that they did that last week a little bit against Niles, and that was a very successful week too. 48-13, you came away victorious, and I said that game might have had a chance for upset city, considering it was the first Division III team that Hubbard was playing in the season. But they took care of business, and they took care of business in a big way against Niles, setting them up for this crash course collision with the South Range Raiders. Looking at the Raiders, yeah, I think the Raiders have the ability to where they can attack you in more ways than one, and that is they can attack you in the passing game, and they can attack you in the running game as well. Biggest thing with South Range too, you got to watch out for. South Range can score in a multitude of ways, and special teams is one of them. And it's a three-headed dragon. So special teams is surprisingly, I think, going to be a big part of this game too, and just containing each other on special teams. The biggest thing I'm looking for, Hubbard's defensive line though, on South Range's offensive line, because the biggest thing in trying to stop and contain South Range's offense, if you can break through South Range's line, you're halfway to beating them. I truly believe that, but that's the biggest thing. South Range's line is very, very good, and they have some very good guys up front that offer some great protection, and they know their blocking schemes, and Coach Yeagley does a great job with that. But if Hubbard's able to find that success, I think they have a chance at beating South Range in this one. I think it's kind of skewed 60-40 in favor of South Range right now, and probably what most people are saying. But I do think that this Hubbard team definitely has a very legitimate chance at upsetting the Raiders at home. And I mean, I don't even know if I'd call it an upset at that point. Biggest thing for the Raiders, though, defensively, I want to see what the linebacking core, because I think Hubbard's offensive line is going to be fine. I really do. I think the linebackers are what's going to matter going up against TC Cappy. I want to see those guys in that second line of defense, because if the linebackers can't stop them, I don't know if there's a defensive back in the area that will. So you got to stop him at that linebacker core. And when he gets to that second line of defense, that's where South Range is really going to have to contain him, I think.
It's definitely a very interesting and thought-provoking take there. I tend to favor, I think, just off the top of my head, on the surface from what I've seen going into this game, I think it's going to be pretty close for the first half, even going into the start of the third quarter. And then after that, I think South Range, because that offensive line, which you alluded to, Ty, is so good, I think South Range will really start to wear Hubbard down. And like you said, also, they could beat you in a number of ways. It's not just one way. Which is a way that's been, it's worked for Hubbard, but I think South Range, they're a little more versatile, a little more dynamic. So I think South Range wins this game by about at least 10 to 14.
Oh, wow. Scotty brought out the score.
Scotty's coming in swinging.
You know what? This is one, though. you're looking at here's what I'll truly believe. It is a better South Range offense going up against a better Hubbard defense. Hubbard's defense has been better this season, I believe. Looking at it than South Range's offense clearly has been better than Hubbard's. And I think that's going to be the biggest thing. Looking at and don't get me wrong, that both Hubbard's offense is very good and South Range's defense is very good. But if I'm giving a pick either way, I'm leaning offense South Range, defense Hubbard. Hubbard has allowed only over 20 points twice this season, and that was to Norwayne and Poland. Every other game has been held under 20 points or less, including a shutout against Struthers, holding Jefferson and Lakeview back-to-back weeks to 7, holding Girard to 15, and holding Niles to 13 these last few weeks. Hubbard's defense has been looking very, very good, and that's the biggest thing. And the one thing I want to note, too, going up against pass-heavy offenses, too, in Jefferson, Girard, and Niles, which is going to be one that's going to test him, too.
Niles, not so much.
No, not Niles. Excuse me, not Niles so much. Girard and Jefferson more. Struthers has been more of a little bit more pass heavy too this season. They've elected to go to the pass a little bit more as well. But and then going up against run heavy schools such as Cardinal Mooney and Poland and seeing success against them as well. So this is a Hubbard team that's seen a multitude of different style of offenses and has had success against them defensively.
Scotty, I can see why you're leaning so heavily on South Range, and there are solid points. I would tell you to be careful because there have been two games already this season that have been Hubbard against teams that have really had their number and maybe on paper should have beat Hubbard. Your Poland game, your Mooney game. Hubbard had never beaten Mooney before in their program's history, period. And then, Poland had won 2 years in a row in dominating fact. It wasn't even close the last 2 years between Poland and Hubbard. And Hubbard shook those monkeys right off their back. South Range is that next monkey that's still on their back for Hubbard. And the first two tests were passed. I don't know if I would be so quick to dismiss Hubbard's ability to how much better they look this year than last year.
I guess I'll close it with this in the opinion of you guys, since you're you guys are the experts here.
Oh, he said it, not us. Just saying.
Yeah, I'm just the guy that's living in your world. You rule the world that I'm living in. Do you think? Obviously, both of these teams are pretty well equipped. You think both of them? You look at them and they could both make a significant run in the postseason. But do you think because Hubbard has the better defense and they have that run game, which is so strong, even though South Range is better offensively and they can hurt you in so many different ways, just high-flying, octane offense with great offensive linemen. Even with all that being said, do you feel like when it comes to the playoffs, like maybe in this game exclusively you give a slight edge to South Range, but when it comes to the playoffs, would you rather have the sound defense and a really good running game or an offense that could really, hang and fling it around with anybody but has some weaknesses on defense? What would you guys rather have as a coach or player in 2021 high school football?
For a deep playoff run, I'd rather have the makeup of South Range. And I'll put it this way, because in playoff football, you're gonna come up against teams that know what you do well and put everything on the line to stop what you do well. And it's a lot harder to do that when you do multiple things well. South Range can run the ball. They can get into those grind out games where they can hold ball control. They have great running backs. They can throw the ball. They can run pass option on you. They can score with the play action deep ball. They can score in multiple ways. And that's why it's hard to take just one thing away from them. On the other end, of course, defense wins championships, and that is not faltered, especially in high school football. So if you can hold your team, if you can consistently hold your opponents to 20-ish points, your offense doesn't have to be lights out to win. So I really think both teams are poised for a deep playoff run. And I think this week in week 10, as far as playoffs are concerned, it's a win-win because even whoever loses this game, they're going to be shown a lot about what they need to kind of tinker on before playoffs start. So coaches say, if you're going to lose an undefeated season, you might as well do it the last game of the year because it propels you into playoffs and really gives you a good window on what you need to improve on right before playoffs start.
I think, Anthony, that you're kind of half-heartedly, because you're a Kansas City Chiefs fan, I know it's a whole nother level. The NFL.
No, the NFL is a whole nother level.
I think, yeah, but
because
I think you favor you
look
like
at the
the flashy, versatile offense.
You look at the NFL, and that's going more times than not, it's the high-powered offenses that win the Super Bowl now because most defenses, you can't hold the NFL team under 28 points too much. The Super Bowl is standing. Just don't bring it up. Most of the times, and even in that Super Bowl, Tampa Bay scored 31 points. So even if Kansas City went and scored 28, they would have won the game. You need offenses to win in the NFL. You just need it. In high school, you need a strong defense to make a deep playoff run. We've seen Springfield have a strong defense last year. They went to the state championship. Kirtland has had a strong defense for years and years and years. They've obviously done what they've done in Division 5. South Range, they're not a lax on defense. Like, I don't want this conversation to skew and say that, like, oh man, Hubbard's so much better on defense than South Range. It's not that. It's just slight edge. So yeah, I get what you're saying, and look, like I said, South Range isn't like Kansas City where they're just going to gun it and throw 50 times a game. They're just a versatile offense that can play a lot of different ways. They have Dylan Dominguez back there, and if they need to, they can just ground and pound and play the 3 yards and clouded dust version of football.
Ty, before I get to trying to stump you here, do you have any closing things to add? Any closing comments or a hot take about this?
I think this is going to be, and we already know it's going to be one of the premier matches of the week. Primetime's covering it tomorrow at 5:00, so you're going to have YSN Primetime getting you all squared away with this matchup. Of course, we're going to be picking it Friday, as well as the boys on Power Hour will be picking it Friday. This is going to be a matchup where I'm hoping I see a full Hubbard crowd in the other side, and we already know South Range is going to show up. I want this stadium and I want that stadium to be rocking all night long because I know this is going to be a great matchup. And either way, and I think you're right on one thing, Anthony, is that both of these teams, win or lose, whoever comes out on top of it, I think it's going to be a great game and a great test for both teams right before their individual playoffs start. South Range in Division 5 and Hubbard in Division 3.
No, I don't like that. I'm getting called out for not throwing Hubbard a bone, but I was the one that came out and said, be careful because they've gotten 2 monkeys off their back already this year. And
he doesn't like throwing Hubbard a bone. That's why he's got to wear some Hubbard gear on Friday.
Eagles don't need bones. They eat the whole thing whole. I mean, come on. The Eagles are not dogs here.
As the Hubbard Eagles fan over here is going to be wearing his Hubbard gear on Friday.
Yeah, I'll tell you something.
You're
It's one of the reasons why I'm not exactly rolling in Scotty thinking South Range is going to win by 2 touchdowns.
I said 10-14.
10-14.
So
okay, well, 2 scores.
Yeah.
Let's split hairs. Scotty, I don't want to take any more of your trivia time. You have, well, actually, it just got to 20. So I'm going to say you have 12 minutes. I'm going to end you at, 13 minutes. I'm going to end you at 1:33, starting now.
Okay, Ty, here we go. I have a feeling this first one's going to be a softball, a layup for you, and then I think things are going to get a little more challenging, but I thought I'd lead off with it anyway, even though I think you're going to easily get it. I want you to name for me, Ty, the 7 NBA players who have scored 30,000 points in their career.
Well, obviously on top there's Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. That's the top of the list.
Is that one?
That's one.
All right.
I know Karl Malone is after. LeBron James is in the top 3. Kobe's in there. Michael Jordan's in there. Dirk's in there. Wilt's in there. That's it. Because Shaq's just outside of it.
You got them. You got them all. And if Shaq didn't miss so many free throws, he would easily be in.
If Shaq showed up to practice a couple more times, I think he would have easily been in.
Yeah, I knew that one would be a layoff for you, Ty. Let's see if you could get this one here. In 1988, I don't remember exactly because it was the year I was born. So cut me some slack. But
so basically, this one has gonna have to be fact checked, right?
No, it's the facts are right. I'm just making a point here. But I believe Sports Illustrated picked the Browns to win the Super Bowl. They were coming, of course, off a AFC title game loss to Denver. Obviously, Bernie Kosar was the starting quarterback, but he would get injured in the 1988 season. And I want you to name, Ty, who were the other 3 quarterbacks that year on the Browns roster that all played at some point during that 1988 season, a year where the Browns still got into the playoffs, by the way. But name the other 3 quarterbacks that played that year aside from Bernie, who ended up going down with a significant injury.
He loves bringing the Browns questions now, doesn't he? I'm trying to think of the other quarterbacks that were going to be on that roster.
Name the player that sacked Bernie.
Well, hold on right now.
Not, but it was Derek Thomas.
He just wanted
to throw out Derek Thomas.
He just wanted to have a Chiefs reference in there.
Just wanted to throw that out there.
So
Tick tock, tick tock.
Oh, that's my job.
Sorry, that was premature.
Yeah, it's a little premature.
Yeah. My bad.
I'm giving you till 1:25, Ty. So you have another minute, 60 seconds on the clock. As we continue this trivia challenge, I want to remind you that the comment section brought to you by Boardman Mitsubishi is live, and you can answer along with Ty. I won't pull it up on the screen to help him, but we can see if you're right or not, and we'd love to hear from you. Boardman Mitsubishi brings you the.
So, I'm trying to think. I know the quarterbacks that were on that roster. Behind Kosar was Gary Danielson.
Is that one of them?
That is one. 2 more.
Mike Pagel was one.
That is another one.
Who's the other one? I think Don Strock, I think was his name.
Oh, man. You are a good, Ty. You are
studied up Browns this time because of you last week, Scotty.
Google it, Ty.
Yeah.
And they're like you watch a horror movie. Don't go in there, you idiot. Just Google it.
Yeah. Maybe it'll be
Ty doesn't cheat. We've checked.
Yeah. Okay, Ty. Here we go. Now
That's 2-0.
Yeah. This next question. The first team's gonna be a layup in this question. I feel like the second team will be a layup for you too, Ty, because I feel like you're a baseball historian and connoisseur. But what two teams did Ty Cobb play for in his professional career?
He played for the Detroit Tigers, obviously. And then he played for Philly after that. I think he played for Philadelphia after that.
The Philadelphia what?
Oh, at the time. That's right. Let's see. What was the name of Philadelphia at the time?
I at least get a half a point here if you don't get the name. In my book.
Oh, in your book, Baker Mayfield is a top 10 quarterback. I don't know how.
They weren't. I don't think they were.
We're only.
They weren't the they weren't the Phillies at the time. This was before, because the only other team they had to have been the Philadelphia Athletics. I don't think there was another one in there because they were I remember before the A's moved to Oakland, they were Philadelphia's team first. That was before baseball moved out to the West Coast.
You got them sniped.
The Athletics were on the east side before baseball started going out west.
This is you got me again, Ty.
That's 3-0 on the day. Scotty, you have 6 minutes. Oh, 5.5.
Okay, so here we go, Ty. This one again, I feel like you'll.
Man, you're giving them layups, man.
Yeah, I had a hard time this week coming up with, real obscure questions. But who knows? This one could get you. I doubt it, though. Who was baseball's first Rookie of the Year, and in what year did he win the award?
Well, I thought it was Jackie Robinson, and I thought it happened in 47.
You're right.
I was gonna say,
I thought it was. Yeah, you're right.
I thought it was. I wanted to make sure about that though, because I feel because I forgot that Rookie of the Year didn't happen until later in the baseball season, but it did. It feels like it should have been happening even earlier. But no, I thought Jackie Robinson was because they named an award after him.
Scotty, that was a quick one, and that's now 4-0.
I know I could have stretched that out for another minute. I didn't play good clock management there.
That was poor clock management.
Okay, so I got another. This is a baseball one, so I feel like, I'm screwed again. But hell, let's just.
Thanks for tuning in, Irish man. We appreciate it.
How many years did baseball award the Rookie of the Year award to one player for both leagues? How many years did they do it? One player for both leagues. Of course, nowadays you have two players for both of the leagues. But how many years
I get it.
did baseball award the Rookie of the Year to one player for both leagues? How many years and what were the years?
How many years? What was the span?
That's a good question too.
I think Ty's just spreading that out.
You got this, Ty. You're holding that on me.
It's been since 1949, Scotty, that there's been two Rookie of the Years in each individual league.
Yeah, but Ty, that's not the question. The question is, how long did they give it to one player? Like, how many years did they give it to one player? And then
it would have been two then. If it started in 47 with Jackie Robinson, and in 49 it started given two, it's 2 years. Jackie Robinson and Al Dark, I think, were the first only solo holders of a Rookie of the Year before they started too.
Is he right?
You are correct.
2 years.
I didn't think you were gonna get Alvin Dark, but you got
It wasn't even part of the question. He got it.
Yeah.
5-0. Ooh, Ty's having a good day.
Yeah, you are. I am having...
Ty, I got one for you. If Scotty wants to tag team. And I think this one, because you're so good at directions, right? And getting to the right spot. Give me the street address of Fenway Park.
I went to Fenway Park 3 years ago in Boston. It was my first time I went to Fenway.
And it's a historic ballpark, so I think this is fair game. I'm not picking a random.
Yeah, no, you're
not. No, I think this is totally fair.
The good thing was, and I'll give a story so I could burn a little bit of time with this. We went to Harvard and MIT. It was me and a couple of my buddies, so we were checking that out before we went to the game, and we walked across the bridge to get to Fenway Park, and we went on Jersey Street in Boston, Massachusetts to get to Fenway Park, because Fenway Park sits on Jersey Street.
Okay, but I still want the street address.
The number of it?
The whole address. You can't mail something without a number.
Okay. It's funny because I had to look this up in the GPS, so I'm trying to think of what I had to put in for Jersey Street or what it came up with.
You got 25 seconds.
I think it was 02215 Jersey Street, Boston, Massachusetts is where Fenway Park sits on.
Google Maps has Fenway Park address as 4 Jersey Street, Boston, Massachusetts, and that you had the zip code.
Oh, that's probably what I was thinking of then. I was thinking of the zip code when I searched it up.
So 4 Jersey Street, Boston, Massachusetts, 02215 is the street address of Fenway Park. So you got more than I thought you would, because of course you've been there and you remember what you punched into the GPS because you walked across the bridge. You're sick.
I remember that, but I don't remember the 4. I feel like it just added in the 4 probably. It's probably not something I had to punch in with it. I had to punch in the zip code though because it had to.
Well, most GPSs you can just type in Fenway and it.
Well, yeah, but I think the zip code was more prevalent, and I think it showed. And I might have just ignored the 4 in Fenway Park or on the street, honestly, because 4 is such a low address number anyway.
What do you think, Scotty? Should we give it to him?
Yeah, I'd say you got it.
Judge says yes. So
I do.
It's a 6-0 sweep. Sorry, Scotty, I failed you.
I don't know if time allows, but I did have one more on my sheet here.
Why not?
Is it a quick one? It's not like a 4-part essay?
No, it's not a 4-part essay.
All right, hit us with it.
Okay, in 1961 time, when Roger Maris hit a record 61 home runs, what San Francisco Giant led the National League with home runs with 46?
Scotty just gives me all the information I need to think about it, right?
TMI. Ty, I'm giving you 1 minute.
I think at that time it was, if it was for the Giants, I think it was Orlando Cepeda at that time.
Oh, not my day.
7-0 tie for
Not
the day.
my day.
Oof.
Shut out.
That means the running.
Dikembe Mutombo hit the rim. I was denied.
No.
Shakes his finger.
This week I had to, Scotty. I had to put up a strong performance. You beat me the last two of the last three.
That leaves our total at 36-11.
Well, just be prepared, Ty, because next week they're all going to be obscure questions.
Oh, I'm ready, Scotty. I just grabbed a touchdown off of you and an extra point. I'm ready.
He's coming with the Swedish artistic gymnastics team questions.
Gonna just have to get more obscure in what I study. It's all about getting film. Got to get film on Scotty on what he's looking up.
Good luck finding information on the Soviet Union gymnastics team that has been burned as part of their KGB's initiative to burn all evidence of spying during the Cold War. But Scotty has secret files.
Yeah, Scotty has access to some stuff.
Sorry, I've been watching the Americans this week, so I'm into Russian spies.
All in an effort to stump me.
We'll take a quick break on the other end. We'll get ready for Aaron Blatch, the head girls basketball coach at Crestview. Don't go anywhere on ysnlive.com. Running Point brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in.
I'm Kelsey Clem from K-Squared Marketing. Our boutique marketing firm specializes in media planning and buying, public relations, event marketing strategies, and strategic sponsorships. We can integrate our services with your existing game plan, or we can be your entire marketing team. Your goals, our game plan. Let's win together. Call K-Squared Marketing at 330-623-2730 or visit ksquared.marketing to learn more.
Jimmy Sutton here, Director of Isle, Purple Cat, and Golden String. We are happy to support YSN and two of my favorite people, Scotty Mincher and Super Dave O'Malley. We are an agency that provides services for adults with disabilities. We infuse humor, passion, and joy into their lives. If you know of any folks with disabilities that need our assistance, please contact us.
Your teams work hard and give it all they've got. Well, so does ours, because 21 Sports and YSN give you extra effort when covering local sports. 21 Sports and YSN, winning coverage of our Valley's teams.
Planning a project around your home or rental property? Trust the electrical service to the local experts with 62 years of serving the Mahoning Valley. Joe Dickie Electric is your local go-to source for responsive, reliable residential electrical work. From everyday maintenance and repairs to new installations, electrical upgrades, and safety inspections, no job is too big or too small. Call Joe Dickie Electric today, 800-549-3976, or visit dickieelectric.com. That's dickieelectric.com.
Dealing with Medicare can be confusing and overwhelming. That's why here at Myers Family Insurance, we do our best to give you honest and caring answers to all of your questions. Family, like Medicare, isn't always perfect, but when you put others first, the results can be amazing.
Welcome back to Running Point on ysnlive.com, Wednesday edition, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. Anthony Hartwig alongside Ty Bartell. And now we welcome in our first dip into a basketball preview as we gear up for the winter sports. It's coming fast. The girls start a month from yesterday. There are some girls with games on the slate on November 19th, and we talked to Aaron Blatch, the head coach of the girls program over at Crestview. Coach, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today.
Hey, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Coach, first thing I want to talk about going into this season and looking at what you guys did last year, 15-10, couple of tournament wins. Your season ended in that playoff game against Brookfield. Giving us kind of a season recap and what you guys did last year, and then going into this year, including the loss of Krista Perry, what is the kind of transition going to be like now for the Lady Rebels?
Yeah, our girls are coming off a good season, 15 wins. I know, like everybody else, it was kind of a crazy year with COVID regulations and all of that. And, made a nice little run at the tournament, didn't get quite where we wanted to go. But, Yeah, we're graduating a really strong senior class. Krista Perry, Mara Hallis, Peyton Huff, Addie Bandy. Those 4 girls had really been cornerstones for us for the last 4 years. Krista and Mara were 4-year varsity players. Peyton and Addie were 3-year varsity players. So, our younger girls definitely have big shoes to fill. I know you mentioned Krista. She's the 3rd all-time leading scorer in program history, scored almost 1,300 points. That's a big hole to fill for sure. But, I think we're ready to transition. We've got a fun, hardworking group. I think a nice combination of older girls and younger girls that are going to work together and continue to get better to have a very rewarding season, I think.
You guys have been extremely competitive in the MVAC for the last handful of years, and obviously we know that Brookfield is a young team on the rise. But I think the biggest storyline is that Garfield comes into the league this year. We've seen them a couple of times on YSN before last year. They're a strong girls basketball program that makes this league even tougher. Talk about this MVAC and what to expect out of it this year.
Yeah, it's going to be a monster again. Really every year that we've been in the league, this will be year 4. It is an excellent small school girls basketball conference. Garfield's only going to add to that. I know they return a couple double-digit scorers, all state level kids. They're going to be very good. They're well coached. They're going to fit right in. Champion year to year to year has put out an excellent team. I know they graduated some kids too, but their JVs won the league. Their 8th grade won the league. They're going to be just fine. Brookfield, as you mentioned, that's a district finalist team last year. Liberty brings basically everybody back, is extremely talented, has some excellent players. LeBray has one of the best backcourts in the league. Newton Falls year to year to year is an excellent program. And, Campbell's in a bit of a rebuild, but I expect them to be much more competitive this year too. So there's really no off games at all. I think we're all going to be very tournament ready at the end of the conference schedule. And I think it's going to be a battle for, those top couple spots in the conference.
Looking at what your team was doing well last year, averaging over 44 points a game, I think offensively was good, and I think your defense was good as well. But talk about some improvements that you want to see from this team, especially with some of the younger girls that are going to have to step up now.
Yeah, we're going to play a lot different style, I think, this year. The group that graduated, very talented, very solid group. They were a little bit more methodical offensively. We didn't maybe push the ball quite as much as what I would like, but those ladies did a great job with that, with a little bit slower style. I think with the team we have now, I think maybe we're a little bit deeper. I think we're, maybe have more interchangeable parts where we can probably sub more than what we have in the past. I know in the past, really, Krista and Mara didn't get a whole lot of breaks. I think we could sub in and out a little bit more. And I definitely want to play a lot faster this year. In high school basketball and girls basketball, if you're 5-on-5 all the time, that's going to benefit the defense. So we're going to try to push. We're going to use our depth. We're going to use our athleticism. We're going to get into people and try to be disruptive defensively. I think we've had a real defensive identity the last few years. I want to definitely keep that, but it's probably going to look a little bit different this year than what it has. We're probably going to be up a little bit more in the full court. I'm really excited about some of those adjustments. We've been hyping it up to the kids. They've been working hard trying to get themselves in shape and open gym and conditioning, being ready to get up and down. So I think we're going to look a lot different maybe than what we have. I don't think we have maybe the one kid this year that night to night is going to give you 15, 16, 17 like Krista typically would. So we're going to strive for more balance. For more depth and try to get a lot of girls developing and involved.
We've talked about your league schedule and the teams that you'll be facing twice a year. Who are some non-conference opponents that you're really excited to face the challenge of this year?
Well, right now my mind's very much already on Beaver Local because that's the opener. That's a local game. We don't play a lot of local games, honestly. We're kind of the odd man out in the league as far as location goes. So, a lot of the teams that we play, our girls don't really know those kids in the league all that well yet. We're excited about Beaver Local. I think they're going to have a good team. They bring basically everybody back from a year ago. We played Girard, who's a good program. They've been on the schedule in the past. Last year, that game got kind of canceled due to COVID, but they're back. We play United, Springfield, which are a couple other local games, as well as East Liverpool. We picked up Latonia this year, another Columbiana County matchup. And I believe we have Lowellville and Hubbard as well, I think, to complete that out-of-conference schedule. So it's going to be a very competitive schedule. We're progressing. We've got a long way to go. But I think we've got a chance to be very competitive in those games.
Talking about your defense last year, it was a part of a very talented defense, averaging over 11 steals a game last year. Ashton Hughes is one of those players coming back this year that averaged over 2 steals a game last year. Talk a little bit about the impact Ashton is going to have on this defense coming back for her senior year.
Well, to be honest, we haven't heard a lot from Ash, but I'm going to talk about the seniors that we have with us that have been working hard. So I think Emily Hill is a girl finishing up her soccer season, having a really good soccer season in addition to having a great golf season as well. But, I really, when she had some injuries last year, when she was healthy, she was really our second leading scorer for much of the year. Very talented athlete. I think is going to really excel in what we're trying to do. And then the 3 seniors that are free right now that have been able to come to Open Gym because they're not in other sports currently, Carson Moore, Trinity Miller, McKenna Schultz, all 3 of them, very, very, very tough, defensive-minded, physical kids. I think Carson, at Open Gyms brought a lot of intensity defensively. Trinity, I think, is probably the best interior defender in our area. And McKenna kind of just does a little bit of everything, can rebound the ball and finish inside and has extended her range. So I think that senior class for us is we need some leadership from. They've already started to exhibit that, and and on the court obviously as well. So we're excited about those girls.
You're not in the boat alone with this situation I'm going to ask you about, because there are a lot of multiple sport athletes in the area, and a lot of schools have to deal with it. But these next couple of weeks, you guys have a really good volleyball team, but you also have a pretty successful soccer team on the girls' side as well. And for the next couple of weeks, you're just going to be like patiently waiting to get your whole team into a gym. What's that kind of like as a basketball coach? As you try to prepare for the season, but you also have to support the girls in their other sports and kind of wait for their success to come to an end.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's rewarding and frustrating at the same time, to be honest. Volleyball's having an unbelievable season, undefeated. We expect they're going to be playing for a long time, and we're definitely supporting those girls that are basketball kids too. Soccer's had a great year. They're peaking at the right time. They just won their first tournament game the other day. It makes it tough. I wish there was a way to schedule where there was less of an overlap, but it's just a reality of it. The good news is I'm just really excited that, several of our players are contributing to other winning teams. I hope that winning is going to carry over into our season. And, this is just all about what's best for those kids. So kids have different interests, different passions. We love having multi-sport kids. And, on that volleyball team, Emily Downey is a kid that has played very well in volleyball, ended up as a freshman last year for us, breaking into our varsity rotation at the end of the year. We think is going to be a really special basketball player. We can't wait to get her back. Maddie Black and Katie Lissy are 2. Maddie's a junior, Katie's a sophomore. Extremely athletic wing players that we think are going to have a chance, maybe to move up to the varsity level this year and help us. I mentioned Emily Hill on the soccer team. We also have Riley Shafer, who's a tough, young, developing sophomore player for us too, who we're excited to get back. So, we're going to continue to support those girls, and when their seasons do come to an end, whenever that is, we'll love to get them back in the gym.
Taking a look at the Crestview program a little bit and looking into your middle school and coming into this year, were there any 8th graders or any middle schoolers that you're kind of excited that are kind of now getting into your end of the program, or maybe some freshmen with the JV team that you're kind of that are now sophomores or vice versa that are now coming under your program?
Yeah, excited would be an understatement. We definitely have some kids coming. Our incoming freshman group is very strong. We got a couple big post girls, Lavraine Gaskins and Lexi Blower, that I think complement each other very well. Those two, I think, as they continue to grow and progress, we're going to have great size for the next 4 years and strength. Lavraine keeps getting better and better and better offensively. Just week to week to week, we've seen great things from her. Lexi, probably the most physical kid that we have in the program. And then we have a little freshman point guard named Reagan Edwards, who I think has a chance to be a special player, a transformative leader for us. Works extremely hard at basketball. She, I think the last few weeks even has really kind of had a breakthrough. And, also in that freshman class, 3 really strong wing players, Meyer Miller, Alexa DeCross, Kirsten Burton. We're looking for big things from all 3 of them, talented on both ends of the floor. And, our sophomore group, I mentioned Emily Katie Riley. We actually have 2 new additions this year that we're excited about. Brooke Brubaker missed last season with some illness concerns. She's going to be back with us. Had a great open gym yesterday. And then we're adding a new girl to the school named Mason Scoville, a tall physical athlete that we're excited about. So, those 2 classes, I think, are going to definitely complement our older girls. We have kind of a small junior class. I mentioned Maddie, but Stephanie Coburn, McKenna Cooey, we think are 2 really good prospects as well that are going to be a big part of this year and next year. So, that we're looking for a lot of leadership from those seniors, but we also feel like we're going to have a lot of younger girls that are going to put themselves in the mix to play big minutes as well.
You have been doing something really cool on social media leading up to the season, reflecting on the coaching staff's favorite games of the time that they've been at Crestview. Today's number 3. How did that come about? What's it like to kind of reflect on the time leading up to a new season? And, obviously today's number 3. Can you give us a little bit of a sneak peek of what might be 2 and 1?
I honestly don't know what gave us the idea. My brother, who's been on our staff, since I have been, he's actually going to coach our 7th and 8th grade this year, but, has been extremely active at all levels of our program. He and I were talking, and I don't know how it came up, but we were just kind of reflecting on, the kids that we've had, the teams that we've had, and some of the wins that they've been able to earn. And somehow we came up with this list. And it's been a lot of fun, to think over the last 4 years. Again, in the MVAC, it used to be the AAC. Like, that conference is so strong that every night out you're getting an opportunity to win a major game, because any league win we can get is an achievement, because we all definitely make one another work. I'll say, as we're leading up into the top 2, we've had a couple pretty good tournament victories. Those top 2 spots are definitely big tournament wins that we were able to get.
Preview, huh?
You go, Ty. It's your turn.
Okay, I'm sorry, but a little bit of a preview of that, and I mean, obviously, that's gonna be exciting seeing what that is, and reflecting on those memories. We all know those memories are a lot more special when you have a community around you to share it with. You got a chance to see now in the football, the volleyball seasons, the soccer seasons as well, what it's like to have that community back without these restrictions, or with lessened restrictions in some schools. what is it going to be like, and how excited are you to have fans back in the stands at a full or more capacity than before for basketball season?
Yeah, we're hoping for a little bit more normalcy. I mean, I know we're definitely not out of the woods yet as far as the COVID situation, but I mean, last year, just for everybody was involved. I mean, we were very thankful to get to play, but with limited capacities and all that. I mean, it wasn't quite the same. So yeah, I mean, I know our players, I'm sure, are going to be excited to see their friends at games and not have to worry about ticket allotments and all that. So I think the atmosphere, not only in our gym, but in whatever gym we go to, is going to be, a lot more what it should, with the student section and with families and extended family members there being able to support our players. So we're definitely excited about that.
Coach, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today to kind of preview the upcoming girls basketball season in Crestview. We appreciate the time, and we know that we're going to catch up with you again as the season progresses.
Well, hey, thanks to you two guys. I appreciate the opportunity. I love talking about our team and talking about our girls, and I know I'm blessed to have the players that we do and to have the coaching staff that we do out here. And I really appreciate all that you guys at YSN do as well. So I know you'll be busy catching up with everybody, and I'm looking forward to working with you guys throughout the year.
Thanks.
Yeah, we'll be looking forward to talking to you.
Hey, thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
That was Aaron Blatch, the head basketball coach on the girls' side over at Crestview. And they're always going to be a very formidable team, and they have a really tough league. Brookfield is young, upcoming. They went to the district championship game, gave South Range a pretty good game too in that district championship. Sophia Hook might be the best player in the league, and you get Garfield coming in; they'll have something to say about it. Liberty returns. He said literally everyone. I think they do return everyone. I don't think they had a senior on that team. So. Fun conference to talk about, fun teams to talk about. We'll continue basketball previews as the weeks go along. We're about a month away from the season, and we will definitely stay focused. That'll do it for today. We want to thank Justin Kosick, the head coach of Springfield Girls Soccer, for joining us today and previewing their tournament. We also want to thank Aaron Blatch, who we just got done talking to, and as always, Scotty Mincher for coming on and giving us the fun half an hour. Tomorrow on the broadcast, we will have at 12:30 the head coach of Brookfield Volleyball, Bree Harbison, will be joining us. And then at 1 o'clock, we'll have Abby Householder, the YSN Volleyball Player of the Year, joining us, as well as in-depth football previews of our marquee matchups. Don't miss it. Casual Sports Podcast coming up next, followed by Power Hour on YSN.